Good morning. I'm Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and welcome to the first episode of Black Woman Unfiltered. This is a podcast dedicated to amplifying the voices of Black women in leadership across all domains. I'm your host, Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and in this episode, I am wanting to set the stage for a series of empowering conversations. Here, we'll explore the intricacies of leadership through the lens of Black women who have navigated and shaped the corridors of power in unique ways. So you may be asking what Black Woman Unfiltered represents. Well, this podcast is our space to challenge the norms, celebrate the achievements, and share the wisdom of countless Black women who've risen through the ranks, often in silence. Now, in this podcast, we'll dive deep into the narratives that shape Black women careers, the obstacles they've overcome, and the traits they are blazing for future leaders, and the trials and trails for those individuals, and how we can improve those as women who have gone down that trail and blazed it successfully, some without, some with some little trepidations and challenges, but we blazed it. Now, in this first segment, Black Women Unfiltered was born from necessity and inspiration. As a Black woman who has climbed the ranks in corporate America, and as an executive leadership coach, again, I've seen firsthand the challenges we face. Challenges that are often stem from intersectional invisibility and systematic barriers. This podcast is more than just a platform. It's a community where we confront these issues head on, share our stories of triumph and trial, and chart a course for real change, guys. It's time for us to make some real change. And it's going to take some seasoned women like myself and others to help with that process. But we also want to bring in voices of all ages across our sisterhood so that we can empower other women and stop some of the things, the negativities we see when we promote a African American woman, or when we have to report to an African American woman, or any woman for that matter. I am guilty as well of saying some of the negatives or creating some of the negative stereotypes that we've created. And I wanted to stop here. This is why I started this journey. Like many of you, I've navigated the complexities, the terrains of corporate America, where the paths are often uncharted and the ceilings doubly challenging for us. Each meeting, project, and role bore the weight of ambitions and the silent hopes of those coming after me. This podcast is not a passion project. It's a call to arms, a beacon for the next generation of Black women leaders. Now, from the hush conference rooms to the blatant disparities in leadership, my journey has been challenging and enlightening. I've faced the paradox of visibility and invisibility, where my successes were overshadowed by systematic barriers that many Black women continue to face today. Ladies, our mission here is clear: to break down the barriers of silence and fear, celebrate our achievements, open and embrace our fellow sisters, and educate our community and allies on the pivotal roles Black women play in leadership and their importance. So let me start by talking about my journey for a minute. So I want to share a bit of my own story. My journey through the ranks wasn't a straight line. It was filled with twists, turns, and too many uphill battles. I remember coming out of school in undergrad, and I was working in accounting, and the lady I was working for said, I didn't hire you, I didn't agree to you. Get in that library, here are all the books on ERISA, here's the tax books, here are the journals, here are the legal ramifications, the legal readings. Here's everything you need to know. Learn it the best way you can, because I'm not going to give you any of that. Yes, I actually experienced that. Even in business school, from navigating predominantly the white male dominated fields to dealing with the microaggressions and outright discrimination. I've experienced it all, but these challenges often sharpen my resolve to lead with integrity and to lift others as I climbed. Just because I was treated that way didn't mean that I had to treat others that way. We have to get over that. Just as some of us are parents and we would not have our children go through the same things we went through, we have to take on the sisterhood and not let others have to deal with the same things we have dealt with as sisters of color or sisters, period, in the whole spirit of sisterhood. No matter what race, nationality, or credibilities or credits or education we have to work better together. Dave Chappelle, I was watching one of his specials one day, and Dave Chappelle said, women don't, why our movements don't go far? Why our initiatives don't go far? Because sometimes we focus, sometimes maybe on the emotional instead of the reality of dealing with them. And this is why Unfiltered, yes, we're going to talk about some hard truths here. We are going to have real dialogue and conversations. I tell you, I used to hate my mother and sister for being real with me, but that realness prepared me for a world that was harsh, a world that criticized me, a world that put me down. I could always expect to be put down at home. So it prepared me, not that that was the best way, guys, not that that's the best way, but it prepared me with strong bones and structure and a base to handle a lot of things that I have to handle. And we have to prepare each other for that. We have to be real. So, as I stated, I've experienced it all. The challenges only sharpen my resolve to lead with integrity and lift others as I climb. I said that again because I want to make that a point here. Now, I realized the power of visibility and mentorship early in my career. I remember once finding hateful messages on my car during business school. Instead of breaking me, it made me more determined to succeed and paved a smoother path to those coming after me. This is why Black Woman Unfiltered exists, to pave those paths. Now, you may be asking, Marilyn, what do we expect from this podcast? Well, in each episode, we will dive deep into the realities of Black women leaders. You'll hear from the various guests, from executives and entrepreneurs to innovators and artists, who will share their unfiltered truths and the wisdom they gleaned from their experiences. This is important because we have to look at all the various aspects. In getting ready and deciding and praying over what I was going to do this podcast, as well as the other pillars that go with this podcast, webinars, community building, because you can't just do one thing. You have to build a group, a structure, a platform, a system around a change that you want to make. And that's what this podcast is going to do, but it has pillars under it that will help us to make that change. So in this podcast, we'll explore topics like navigating intersectionality, how race and gender intersect to impact our professional journey. overcoming system barriers, identifying the hurdles in traditional and new media environments and strategies to overcome them. Economic empowerment. We'll discuss how leadership roles can provide substantial economic benefits for individuals and our communities. Community and mentorship. Building networks that support and elevate, ensuring that we're not the first nor the last in any leadership role. Never think that. I remember becoming the president of the Georgia CASA. And one of the ladies said to me, and it was a Black lady, she says, "Oh, don't think that you were the first and you're special because you're the president. There have been others before you. I was offered that, but I turned it down." That conversation was not necessary. It didn't need to be said. That's the kind of thing that Black Women Unfiltered is going to hopefully help us eliminate with one another. We are not going to have conversations that, even though that she may have thought that was unfiltered, but the way she presented it was mean-spirited. There's another way to go about doing things, and we need to be taught that. We've forgotten etiquette with one another, and it's time for us to get back to that. We are not each other's enemy. We have to look at each other as our allies for one another. So I encourage you all to engage with us, subscribe, share your stories, and join the conversation. This community cannot exist without you. We need you. We need you all out there, the sisters, the women in business, the women in working in education, wherever you may be working. We need your voice. Or you may be a housewife, stay-at-home mom. We still need to hear your voice. When all of us come together as a strong bond unit, we can help. We're not looking for any handouts. We're not looking for pity parties. This is about us taking charge of our lives, our careers, our roles, and doing something about them by working together and showing a united community, one that supports each other. Because what I've noticed is in this community of ours that we have now, we don't show our support a lot of times, and that lets others infiltrate our ability to be stronger and build stronger bonds in community. So get ready for raw, real transformative discussions. Expect to be inspired, to learn and grow. We are here to disrupt the narrative positively and powerfully. So again, together we can challenge the status quo and inspire change. We can't do it if we're not together. So I thank you for tuning in to our first podcast. This journey we're embarking on, I'm going to be challenging, but oh, will it be rewarding. Remember, this is just the beginning. We can redefine the leadership landscape, but we must do it together. So I want to hear from you. I need you to subscribe to our podcast. I need you to follow us. We will be setting up our social media sites and all. This is just the first. This is just the entry. I have to do things. My mental mind says, go ahead and move forward with the process. If I don't, it goes to the back burner and something else gets in front of it. So this is what this is about. I hope to see you on Black Woman Unfiltered, our podcast, and I look forward to the great, deep conversations and the fun we are going to have while doing this. Yes, we can have fun. Again, for the other audience that's listening, this is not about put down anybody. We are not here to put any race down, any culture down, any men down. We are here to look at ourselves in the mirror. So much so, we're going to start our first episode with women that have reported to me as a senior manager they were reporting to. I have gone back and pulled together the women that reported to me, that saw me in the raw form, that make a lot of the mistakes that I see a lot of Black women making now in leadership, that are first at leadership, to those that saw me grow and progress and was there to support me and elevate me and to be raw with me on what was going on and how I needed to change and what I needed to do. In addition to that, I'll be bringing in other women that were not of my race, our race, that were pillars to help me see things differently, that had a taste of me in the raw form and the other form that I needed to change, but they still supported me in helping me to maneuver through that which was unknown at the time. So that's it. I look forward to you subscribing to Black Woman Unfiltered. I look forward to you getting involved in the community and then reshaping our future, the Black Woman Unfiltered community, as well as I look forward to us doing great things together and breaking barriers that we need to break. So this is our first show. It's kind of elementary, but it's great that you are joining us today. And I look forward to many more shows. And if you want to get involved and help with the show, please do so. I'm here. Give me a call, send me an email. I'll link an appointment time to the article, to the post, to the podcast that we're making. We have a newsletter that's coming, an article that's coming out on LinkedIn, as well as there'll be a link there where you can create some time to spend with me. And you can also join me on our site, getcareerdoctor.com. That's getcareerdoctor.com. You can just join, provide the information, and that's where a lot of our newsletters and webinars will be coming from. Some webinars, no, don't worry about it. It's like, oh, Dr. Carol, here you go. No, please join me and you're going to be surprised. You are going to be elated with the great content that we're going to provide to you. So that's it. Take care.